Thank you, sir. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, and I would like to call the meeting of the Edgewood Town Council to order. If we all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we can take just a few moments of silence to reflect upon things that are happening not only around this country but around the world, and for all of our men and women that are in harm's way. Thank you. Before we have the roll call, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our new member, Mr. Brian McCord. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Now you will see things from a different perspective.
I hope so.
Ms. Tanner, may we have the roll call, please?
Can I call your name, please state here or present. Mr. Reed?
Here.
Ms. Barron? Here. Mr. Leek?
Here.
Mr. Pickett?
Here.
Mr. McCord?
Here.
Mr. Barron?
Here.
Let the record show all council members were present.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll have a report of the Edgewood Golf and Dining and Events. Ms. Skeen. Is it Skeen? Welcome.
Thank you. Council President and members, thank you for having me back. I feel like I was just here. I know it's been a while. Could you please take one and pass it down? There are 3 reports in your packet. I'm going to start with the one on top, which is the balance sheet. You feel free to stop me if you have any questions as I'm going through this. So we're reporting on the first 3 months of 2026, so this is cumulative, January through March. I want to point out on page 1 that our cash position is $70,750. That is $53,842 down from this time last year. We have not bought any new equipment this year. If you turn the page, the changes that I do want to point out is we have a new loan on the books. We did some consolidation. Previously, if you'll recall, we had 2 loans on the books for golf carts. We had DLL Finance, and we had a note payable with First Merchants, both with different terms, different payment terms, different lengths. Management was able to secure a new loan with State Bank. And what this new loan entails is a 7.09% interest rate. There are 6 payments of $43,540, 1 annual payment a year for 6 years at the interest rate of 7.09. Our interest is a little bit higher that we're paying, $2,200 in total over the loan, but our cash out over the length of the loan is $7,357 less. The whole purpose of the loan was for cash flow. Does anyone have any questions about that before I keep going? Okay. There is another loan on this book, note payable Wells Fargo at the very bottom of page 2. Patty was making payments, Patty through the club was making payments to the manufacturer of a new mower, but the manufacturer wanted all of the money up front. So management was able to secure a loan with Wells Fargo to pay off the balance of the note to the equipment provider. That's all I have to share on the balance sheet, unless anyone has any specific questions about that.
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a loan with State Bank, and then we have a loan with Wells Fargo. We could not roll the 23 up into the State Bank loan? Is that not feasible?
No, it was not. And we had just secured that one.
Okay.
And it's a much easier one to deal
Okay.
with.
And the state bank loan was nothing but collateralized by the golf carts.
Okay.
If I could add, State Bank may not be familiar to everybody, but they are a relatively new bank operating in Madison County. And their president it used to be called the Bank of Liston. And oddly, it was Hendricks County. But that's where Mike Baker went. He'd been a long time. Mike had started Anderson Community Bank, which eventually merged into First Merchants Bank. And Kirk Clevendi, if anybody remembers Kirk, he is still with First Merchants. I think it's Aaron Rieger.
Aaron
If
Reaver,
you
yeah.
dealt with Aaron, so Aaron is a commercial banker with State Bank at this point. I think Kirk stayed with First Merchants. But good group. They're putting in a new branch in LaPel. Have a loan origination office, I think, at Flagship Enterprise Center. So I think it'll be a good resource for people here in Madison County, but it's a relatively new name for most of us here in Madison County.
I've seen them, did they start out mainly in rural communities?
I think that's true. I think I've had some conversation with Aaron and that was, this was new coming to Anderson.
Because that's where I've always seen them, in rural communities.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry to jump in there. but-
No, not at all. Fine. All right, I want to move on to profit and loss by class report. Seems to be the most popular. So on page 1 of this report at the top, we've got income for the year in total of $198,676. $108,503 is from the restaurant and pub. $90,173 is from golf. What I do really want you to notice is on our cost of goods sold. Our cost of goods sold for golf is $4,909. The pub is $44,188.70. Food cost is primarily food and liquor, and everyone knows food costs are going up. So our cost of goods sold is going to go up. So our net profit from golf after cost of goods sold is $85,000, and our net profit on the restaurant after food is $64,314. Our expenses rolling down through here, there's really nothing unusual that I want to point out other than one thing, and that is the bank charges and fees is higher than it normally is. And the reason for this is because when we closed on the state bank loan, there was a $500 fee for closing. So that expense is inflated by about $500 more than it normally would be. You can see we've got some golf expenses and supplies starting to come out as the season's starting to open. Insurance, professional fees, our payroll, everything is running along pretty smooth. We had a small repair bill we had to pay on the pool. We had to cover insurance for the pool. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much status quo. If you turn to the second page, I just want to point out that our depreciation expense is much higher for golf primarily because most of the equipment is for golf, the motors and the golf carts and such. And then the interest paid is on the loan for the golf carts and the mower. So we have an overall net income from golf of $25,175. We have an overall net loss of $31,615 on the restaurant for a net loss as of March 31st of $8,985. Does anyone have any questions before I go to the last report? I think it's the most tellable report. Is that a word? Tellable?
Telling.
Telling, thank you. Okay, so what this last report is, the profit and loss report, it's cumulative for all divisions, and it compares to the same time in 2025. So I wanted to point out that our total income through March is up $28,017 compared to this time last year, and our cost of goods sold is down $2,098 over this time last year, which means I think management's paying attention to trying to come up with the best deals that they can from their vendors to try and keep food costs down, which I know is a challenge. If we work our way down through the expenses, Again, the bank charges and fees are higher than they have been in the past year, primarily because of this new loan. Working my way down to payroll, I wanted to point out payroll is down significantly compared to 2025. We're down $13,000 overall. So I think that's indicative that keeping an eye on hours so we don't overstaff to keep our costs down. If I turn the page, depreciation expense, and again, interest, those are our two other big numbers in other expense, and that's primarily because of equipment and then loans on that equipment. Anyone have any questions for these?
Actually, I just had a question for Patty. I think it's great that we're controlling food costs, but Patty, do we periodically adjust menu prices based on our increased costs?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, our new menu is coming out May 1st, and it will have a little, we don't want to do big increases,
Sure.
but yes.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Any questions from Ms. Skeen?
Michelle, as we've said before, when you look at the depreciation expense and trying to look at real dollars here, so that's a paper loss.
That is
Would
correct.
that be correct to say?
That is correct. Yeah, if you look above on page 2 of this, the last report you're looking at the net operating income, we show a net profit in golf of $27 and a net loss in the restaurant of $13,000. I'm sorry, I'm on the other report. We're showing a net operating income of $27,000 for 2026 as opposed to a $13,000 loss for 2025, same time period. So, I think it's important to note, both golf and pub need each other, but their management's doing, I think, a really good job of watching their costs and finding ways to consolidate their debt, which will help their cash flow.
But this is not a cash flow drag on the town.
It is not.
Any further questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire report.
All right, well, good evening.
Good evening.
For the month of March,
For the sake of already, introduce yourself.
oh yeah, sorry, I always forget that part. I'm Jordan White, I'm privileged to serve as the captain at Edgewood Fire Department. During the month of March, Edgewood Fire Department responded to 43 calls for service. The operational tempo remains steady compared to last month. Our training, compliance, and community engagement continue to be departmental priorities. So over this past month, we actually just had our boot drive yesterday for the Hoosier Burn Camp. That was a really good success. I got to be out there in the street a little bit. We just had a lot of fun getting to say hi to folks, and got to raise some good money for a good cause. We also had the Bloodmobile out here. We were one short of our goal was 13 people. We had 12 come out. I think the one person wasn't able to make it, but thankfully though, it sounds like we were able to mostly achieve our goal there. So big thank you to everyone who came out, and thank you to everyone who continues to help support the town of Edgewood and the fire department. So for the month of March, we had a total of total calls in March was 182. And of these 182 calls, year to date, we had calls ranging from altered mental status, back pain, cardiac arrest, diabetic, medical alarm, overdose, sick person, traffic accidents, assist person, bleeding, chest pain, injured person, mental, emotional, and 1 seizure, 1 stroke, and 4 trouble breathings. We also responded to 10 fire calls for service. That included lines down, traffic accident that required a rescue, carbon monoxide check, and road hazards. And I am very happy to say that for our incident summary, the Edgewood Fire Department responded to multiple lines down or any just power line issues, but thankfully no property damage or injury was noted. And we also did not have any major house fires or anything. That's why I'm proud to say that Town of Edgewood did not have a fire this month. That's fantastic. Our member training and readiness, for this past month, the training hours completed were 273 hours, which averages out to be about 17 hours per member for the month. For our certification compliance, emergency response support, which is required 240 hours annually, we are 100% compliant with that. Our fire officers are required to have 12 hours of training annually. We're 100% compliant with that as well. Also, with training, our topics have been vehicle extrication. We had EMS audit and review, which means we look at the charts that we've completed and we go through and just look to see how can we do better. And then we have also had officer development training, officer and leadership development training. For outside schools, Edgewood Fire Department currently has one member in EMT class, which for those of you that don't know, the state of Indiana's EMT class is 160 hours worth of training on top of the skills and written tests that they have to take. So we just have one member that just finished his EMT, and we have another that's currently in the middle of it. So it's a hard course, but it's definitely rewarding. We have another member that's enrolled in advanced EMT, which is the level just above an EMT. We have 2 members in the Firefighter 1 and 2 Academy, which consists of Firefighter 1, Firefighter 2, Hazardous Materials Awareness, and Hazardous Materials Operations. That's four state certified courses into one class. I'm not sure of the exact hours on that, but I know it's very lengthy. So once these folks graduate those classes, they'll be ready to ride out on the fire truck and help the members of our community and our surrounding communities. We have 2 members in Fire Officer Strategy and Tactics, which is a fire officer program that teaches how to stabilize the incident for the first arriving truck. And then we have 1 member in Fire Officer 3. Fire Officer 3 is one of your top tier fire officer courses, and that's a very rigorous course as well. So we have a lot going on with these outside courses. Upcoming events. August 8th, Edgewood Fire Department will be out at Anderson Speedway conducting a 50-50 raffle. We look forward to seeing everyone there, so mark your calendars, August 8th of this year. October 3rd, the Edgewood Fire Department will be hosting our 4th annual Fish and Chicken Fry at the Edgewood Fire Department at 3323 Nickel Avenue. We're looking for any help, whether it's monetary donations or if you wish to drop off food or dessert. If you have any questions or donation related, community engagement, anything like that, feel free to reach out to us on social media, or you can contact our public information officer, Jessa Ashton, and she'd be more than happy to get you connected and to let you know how you can best help. And with that, I conclude our fire report.
I've got you talked about 43 runs at the start of the report. Is that fire runs, ambulance runs, or all of them together?
That's all the above. That's combined.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, we got a yard that needs to be tended to based on some damage that you guys did a couple months ago. So make sure you get one. It's done. Oh, it's done. Okay, good. Never mind.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
The fish fry is October 3rd.
Do we incur an expense
Do you have a
on
time
that?
on that yet?
We do not have a time set yet, or Chief, do we have one? Do you know? It starts at 7?
4 to 7.
Oh, 4 to 7, okay, I was gonna say, that sounds late. 4 to 7,
I'm sorry, was that August 3rd, is that what you said?
October 3rd.
I'm sorry, October 3rd, okay.
August 8th is the 50/50 raffle at the Anderson Speedway.
Okay, any further questions for Jordan? Hearing none, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Ackerman, please report.
My report looks kind of sad compared to what Jordan just went through. We don't have much going on, which is a good thing from the police side. We had 88 calls for service during March, and separate from that, we had 18 traffic stops. And all of those traffic stops have been warnings, but there were only 4 that were inputted into the statewide ticket system as a written warning. So a lot of verbal warnings and some written warnings going on. We have, our dates coming up is this Saturday is Drug Take Back Day. We take prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, anything, liquids. They have to be tightly sealed in their original container, just come to the back door. If it's a nice day, we'll have the tent set up, we'll be outside. If it's not, we'll be inside the office. But there is an officer coming to help me, who'll be dedicated to that if I get a call and I have to leave. We don't take any pressurized cans at all. The DEA, I'll take all the drugs down to the DEA on Monday morning, and what they do is we put them in 16 by 16 by 16 boxes. They take our boxes, chuck them in a big furnace. And so any kind of pressurized gas can will explode and hurt the agents, and we don't wanna hurt the agents, they're our friends. So, we do go through and make sure we have gotten some inhalers before, we separate all that stuff out. If anybody who brings that in could take care of that, that would make our job easier, but we do check and make sure that we're not putting anything in those boxes.
What time is that?
Good question, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that is, it's a nationwide thing, so there's probably 3 or 4 places in Madison County, 60, 70, 80 places around the state doing it. I mean, the whole country's coming together from 10 to 2 to do Drug Take Back Day. We're also planning another town cleanup day like we did last year. We had 2 big dumpsters over at the golf course, and we're gonna do that again on May 16th. And I'm guessing that'll be 8 to 4. That was, Chad just kind of threw that date out at me today, so it should be May 16th. I'm not sure on the time yet.
So how do we make sure that it's just people that live in Edgewood that are dumping?
We checked IDs last year.
Okay,
So you have to bring your ID with you, and if you're not in Edgewood, we'll, say move on. But we filled 2 full dumpsters with just people from Edgewood. So, and that's, I believe that was like couches, furniture, sticks, anything that was just rubbish,
so whatever they can haul, you guys will take.
pretty much. I know there's
No
some
electronics,
restrictions,
though.
but we'll get.
No electronics like TVs or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, electronics are no go, but
You said it's May 16th?
May 16th, I believe. He texted me today, May 16th, question mark. So, that may change.
Tentative.
So TBA.
Yeah. It may be the 16th, it may be another day, we'll find out. And then the last thing I have is the National Night Out is coming up on August 4th. I actually have a committee working with me this year, so I'm not doing it by myself, which is kinda nice. And they're throwing all kinds of ideas at me, and we're accepting some and some we're pushing back to next year. We've got some big things planned, and I'll go into those a little bit later as we get closer to the date, but it's looking pretty exciting, so.
For the sake of some of our guests, could you explain National Night Out?
National Night Out was created in 1984 by a group called National Association Town Watch. That was a little group somewhere in the central United States, I don't remember exactly where, but they formed just to make sure that their little area had, people were watching out for each other, and if crime's committed, we call it in, and that kind of stuff. They made this thing called National Night Out, and it caught fire across the country, and it is now a nationwide thing, except Texas does it in October, because it's a little hot in Texas in August. But it's, the their tagline after National Night Out is police community partnerships. So they're trying to get the police and the community to know each other so that you can come to us, we can come to you. You know, it's a two-way street. We also work with the kids so that the kids aren't afraid to come and talk to us. Because a lot of times, I got a lot of scary stuff on me. And we come in and we take mom and dad out for hurting mom or dad, you know, the other one, and the kids are afraid of police. And so we try to calm them down and say, hey, we're actually good guys. We're just enforcing the law. Sometimes bad things happen, we have to take somebody to jail, but we're not bad people. Because if kids need help, we don't want them to run away from us. We want them to come to us. Say, hey, I'm in a bad situation, I need some help. So that will be on Tuesday, August 4th from 5 to 8 p.m. That's all I have for now.
Okay, any questions for Mr. Ackerman? Hearing none? Okay, thank you. Mr. Ferguson, utility report.
Good evening. Basically what I have is just review of everything that we've talked about at the last several meetings. No, we're still not getting any funding for our lead service line stuff, which we are still diligently working on those particular things. Still not receiving hardly any pictures of services in the homes. We still got a few meters that we changed this past month. Anybody that ever has a complaint on their water bill, we go out and we will do what is called a profile. At that time, we just take the opportunity, we just put them in a new meter at the same time. Then I take pictures of their service line and things of that nature in the home. Everything's running good with our water plant. We are still down on water service, meaning the usage of water per day. So I think we're around 160,000 gallons. I forgot what it's called. Hydraulic model. That has, I've given the engineers a few other options to go through and some different changes of that needed to be done from some information that they had wrong. So I've had a long conversation with them last week, so they are in the middle of making those changes. As far as everything else at the moment, grass is growing. You see we're out there. Not me personally, but Carl's been out. He's been in some of the flower beds, things like that. We've been trying to get up on the weed eating. It is supposed to be the rainy season, which is not really rained a whole lot, but grass is definitely growing at the moment. Went out and done, we got 3 yards of topsoil dirt that we went out and done several different things of landscaping that needed to be done, some yards and ruts of that sort of things from various service vehicles, some of them there, even at our own plant because of the power outages. Also, at the moment, which I have stressed before, Edgewood has a lot of mature trees, and we have had a ton of wind this year. It's almost unrelenting. I do have Anderson Arbor Care with Steve Dew. He is going around to all of our parks and he's going to give me an estimate on what needs to be done. I haven't got that estimate yet, but we do have a lot of stuff in our parks at the moment and on town property that Carl and I just cannot handle. We're just not equipped. So he's gonna go through and he'll give me a report of what needs to be done. We can do it several different ways. We can just do it park by park, He's gonna give me the absolute stuff that needs to be done absolutely first, and then some stuff that can be waited. So those are some of the things that we need to do. I said that to the residents, you need to take care of your properties and your trees, so practice what we preach. So at that time, my report is done, unless you have any questions about anything for me.
Any questions for Mr. Ferguson?
Just a statement that stormwater information you sent me, I do have that up, but it's not
Yeah.
showing, so I have to go revisit and see what I did wrong.
Right,
By not
okay.
getting that page created, but the page has been created and that information is up on our website.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ferguson. All right, member reports, Mr. Reed.
I don't have anything to add to Randy, but I thought I ought to mention, or just make a statement that, I had a lot of people ask if I'm the Mike Reed that's running for County Council District 3, and I am. Just thought I'd make it public. If elected, I'm running unopposed in the primary, but if elected, of course, I'll have to step down from the board, but I just want to let everybody know.
All right, thank you. Ms. Farren.
I have no report.
Okay. Mr. Pickens.
Excuse me. And just to tag on what Don said, we have been in discussion about the estimates at the parks. He's made it aware that we're getting that, and so we'll address that once it comes. And then that one part, did we get that refabricated yet, or
Well,
we've got a part to one of the
it's fixed.
playground equipment. It's been fixed. It was broken.
We actually removed one of those items, that very same item, from Redwood Park because it was broken way worse than
Okay.
what the one at Winding Way Park was. So we removed it, and then it had the part on it that we could replace the one there for. So
We cabbaged it. Good job.
we recycled, however you want to put it.
There you go.
So-
That's all I've got.
Okay. Mr. McCord, unless you surprise me and say you do, I'm sure you don't have a report because you don't even know what jobs you have.
Exactly true, no report.
You will be taking over streets,
Okay,
okay? So I will be calling you every day when it snows.
good,
I'm not gonna call Mr. Ferguson, I'm calling you.
there you
And I
go.
start at 2 in the morning.
Do it, do it.
I'm just joking. Yeah, but you will be taking over streets,
Okay, thank you.
okay? All right. Mr. Farren.
Yes, I do have a report. We had 2 requests for driveway expansions, and I made it clear to both residents that it had to be of the same material that the existing driveway is comprised of. Drove by both properties, and they're also submitting a sketch of where the addition will be placed. Have a request for a room addition that is pending submission by the contractor. And then probably the most significant item is the demolition of 3 structures, 3 buildings at 420 Layton Road. Probably most people are familiar, wouldn't be familiar with the address, but these 3 buildings border Edgewood Golf Course on Layton Road, on the east side of Layton Road. One is a dilapidated house that was built in 1905. The other is a small storage shed and then a larger concrete block building. So all of those are scheduled to be demolished by Schroyer Demolition. I just got an update today from their office stating that the tentative date for demolition was April 20th, but it looks like they're gonna have to push this back to the first week of May. But they'll stay in touch with us. All utilities to those properties have been turned off, so I think we're ready to go whenever they are.
Thank you. Mr. Austin.
Might augment Kurt's report. I think the quote we got, or the estimate we received from Schroyer, who's a Muncie-based demolition contractor, recommended by Todd Fisher at the City of Anderson, was about half the prior quote we received for that same work. So I think it's a good way to proceed. And the only thing I had was, I did prepare a resolution at Ms. Tanner's request.
Before we move on,
Okay.
let's stick with the property for a second. Have you had an opportunity, or will you take an opportunity to talk to the city of Anderson about the possibility of allowing us to annex that small parcel of land, since we own the property on Layton Road?
Well, I'm happy to do that. I have not yet.
Okay, I think the consensus from members of the council is if we can get that annexed into Edgewood, that would benefit us, considering the fact that we own the property, and it borders up against the golf course. Okay, so if you can have that conversation, I think we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and I can talk to the mayor about that and see what their response.
I mean, I don't see how it benefits the city, because they're not getting the tax revenue off of it. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
That whole portion of the back nine of the golf course is in the city of Anderson.
We're aware.
yeah, we're aware. So, okay, sorry, Mike.
Oh, and the only, in terms of document preparation, only thing happened was just a resolution that Ms. Taylor requested just earlier today about authorized signers for the bank accounts maintained by the town of Edgewood. So send something out, try to circulate that to everybody, and maybe something we can consider a new business tonight, if that looks like something the council wants to adopt. And I believe that is it. Thank you.
Any questions for our town attorney? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Surveys, engineer report.
Well, the thing I have tonight is, I went through the paving bids that we received. I would recommend that we award the contract to EMB Paving. The amount was $313,846.50. They were approximately $7,000 lower than the next bidder. This award would be subject to our receipt of the Community Crossings grant money. And once that's done, we can work with EMB and get something going.
What was that amount, Steve?
Big pardon?
What was that amount again?
It was $313,846.50.
Anybody have any concerns?
I would like to know where this paving project is.
I can give you a copy of the list,
Okay.
or I can email it to you. I'll get your email address from Catherine. I think I said Kurt one last meeting, so I can send you the same thing.
Steve, we had two bids, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
EMB, and then we had DC
DC
Construction.
Construction, yeah, they were $321,955.36.
Okay.
So it was very competitive bids. That's what you always like to see, is close bids like that.
Now, is this for projects for both sides of 32 or just?
Yes, yes. Yeah, this is asphalt street paving, milling.
So bids are required, and then under the state statute, we would be basically charged with selecting the most responsible and responsive bid.
Right.
So I think we'd want if the council wants to proceed, subject to the receipt of the Community Crossings grant funds, probably want a motion and a second and consideration of that recommendation.
So moved.
You making a motion?
I'm making a motion.
Okay. All right. There's a motion on the floor that we accept the bid contract from EMB Paving at the price of $313,846.50, subject to the town receiving a commitment through the Community Crossings Grant.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay.
That's all I have tonight.
Mr. Service,
Yes.
it might be helpful at some point, since you are the one that pretty much works with
Yeah.
the streets, that maybe you and Mr.
I was gonna try
McCord
to
get
get with
together
him.
at some point.
Yes,
So we can understand the
that would be a
process.
good idea.
I was trying to get with him After the
I'll
meeting.
give you one of my business cards
Okay.
after the meeting. It's got all my contact information. You can reach me anytime.
That way
Sounds
you-
good, thank you.
yeah,
Okay.
That way you understand how he selects and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Good call.
All right, thank you, Mr. Service.
No problem.
Ms. Tanner, clerk treasurer's report.
I don't have much to report, but the town did hire 2 individuals. Sherry Johnson, she's gonna be taking Wendy Wash's position as deputy clerk treasurer. And Shauna Atkins will take Christy Pitt's position as accounting clerk. And they did pass the background checks and everything looks good and they're already working at the office. So if you haven't met them yet, I recommend stopping in, at least getting to say hi and see who they are, what they look like, and talk to them a few minutes. They're good people. And also, if you notice on the register of claims, there wasn't a bill from the city of Anderson. I did contact them and they said that they did mail it, but they're gonna go ahead and resend it. It's probably somewhere lost in the mail.
Don't look at me.
But that's all I have.
Any questions for Ms. Tanner? Okay, hearing none, okay, thank you. Okay, any old business?
I'd like to bring up one old business. I was looking at the ordinance book that we have, and we still have the ordinance in relationship to the town court in there. And there's also, we need to, I think, revisit the ordinances for the tree committee. And look at those and see if we need to adjust those, because I think we wanted to adjust those, they didn't get adjusted the way we thought they were. So I would like to reconvene the ordinance committee to at least address those 2 issues in the ordinances, and if there's any other things that need addressed.
Mr. Austin, correct me if I'm mistaken. We did do an ordinance dissolving the court.
I believe we did, yes. I think the problem is sometimes, we have the American Legal Publishing that compiles our ordinances and attempts to index them. Sometimes things don't always get in.
Okay, yeah, we just need to dig that ordinance up and then get it, make sure it gets published.
That was it.
Okay. You brought those 2 old businesses up, you take the lead?
Yeah. We'll take it, won't we? Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get the ordinance committee back together and look at those and just make sure that what's in the book matches.
No.
Brian's in on
Brian's-
2.
Yeah, we can't do 3.
Ooh, yeah.
If we're gonna have, it'll just be,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll talk, we'll figure it out. But there's a discrepancy between the online version, the electronic version, and the paper version. And we just wanna make sure that they are match. So I'll get with you too on that from American Legal Publishing and see if they send us an updated, because the versions don't match for some reason. We'll figure it out.
Okay, all right. Ms. Farren, do you want to talk about long-range strategic planning?
Sure. And I'm gonna turn this on because you might not hear me. Can you hear me? Okay. So, back in 2022, we had a committee of council people and residents and Edgewood Fire Department, Edgewood Police Department representatives, and we were discussing, it was called the feasibility study at that point. What we were looking at is long-term strategies for our community and how we could make buildings that we have more useful and try to work through that process. And 2022, Dale was on that, he remembers that. We got caught up in planning because we were going to combine our fire, police, and utility office. And we had an architect come in because when you redo a fire department, you have to have specifics. And so we had the architect come in and the plans got worked and reworked, and the total budget for that project was gonna be almost $4 million. And we spent $50,000 on the planning and the architecture renderings, and sadly we thought, well, this isn't going to get us anywhere at this point. And other things happened, and that did not, we didn't go any further with that because we've made use of the buildings that we have, and so far there's no problem with that. So we decided that that wasn't really going to be a good investment for the town. So we would like to look at putting together a strategic plan for the community going forward. We could do a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, and I think that's what we were looking at with the other plan, that with the feasibility study that we were doing. We wanted to look 20 years ahead, and I don't know about any of you, but I probably won't be here in 20 years. But I would like to know that things are planned for our community so that it will have longevity after we're not here. So we are looking at putting a group of interested residents together to help get this kicked off. And I think, I think we need to have a bigger scope rather than just the buildings that we have. And maybe that wasn't the way to start it, but that's what we did. So I'm gonna flip it back to Rob.
Do you mind if I add to that a little bit?
No, I'm flipping it back to you now.
Thank you. It's a comprehensive plan. You'll see that there's a lot of communities that have that. It's basically a roadmap of where you want to go. So you got to remember, a comprehensive plan is always going to be fluid. It's going to change based on the needs of the community. And what you'll address is, like we had talked about, Don had talked about the water tower. Is that for me? Don had talked about the water tower plan that we have down the road. That would be part of the comprehensive plan. The lead pipe identification, that would be part of the comprehensive plan. The street paving that we're planning on doing, and we do pretty much every year or every other year, that would be part of the comprehensive plan. It's just all encompassing for everything from the town. Anything to do with the fire department, anything to do with the police department, anything to do with the clerk's office. What it is, it's a written document, basically, a written idea of where we want to go from today to tomorrow, to a year down the road, to 5 years down the road. Like Patty said, 5-year, 10-year plan. But just know that it can change as things change. As we finish up with the new water tower, that won't be part of the comprehensive plan anymore. If we finish up with our pool over there, that won't be part of the comprehensive plan anymore. So that's what we're talking about, trying to get the community involved, because it's all about the community deciding what they want to do with this town, not just the 6 people up here.
All right. And this plan will not just be something that will be put together by members of the council. The intent is to solicit input from community members to be a part of that committee, to help us as we begin to strategically think about where do we want to see Edgewood in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. Any questions? So more to follow. Okay. Next piece of old business, public safety fee. We talked about 3 or 4 sessions ago about the need for a public safety fee. I know that Shane Briggs, before he resigned his position on the council, had brought this to our attention. Currently, we have a fire safety fee, which is $5 per month that gets tapped against each resident's water sewer bill. But as the town of Edgewood, as we, I'm not going to say grow in the sense of become landmass wise, but as we grow with, families coming into the town and as a need for upgrading equipment in the police department and upgrading equipment in the fire department, and Dale can speak to this better than I can. There are a number of initiatives right now that are being thrown around at the Indiana State House that are going to be at least 3 or 4 unfunded mandates that not only paid fire departments, but volunteer fire departments are going to be required to have in place over the next several years. As a community, we have to get ourselves to a position where we can fully fund and support public safety in the town of Edgewood. So we are looking at, or at least in the discussion stages, about establishing a public safety fee. Before the council makes a decision on whether or not we want to move in that direction, we would like to hold a town forum sometime probably in the next 2 to 4 months, where we can invite residents to a town forum so that we can have a discussion and get some feedback from residents about whether or not they would support a public safety fee. Because we don't want to make this something that the council says to our residents, this is what we're going to implement. We want residents' input, and we want residents' buy-in. So be on the lookout over the next 3 to 4 months for a forum that we will have collectively as a town, where we will talk about the importance of having a public safety fee, and then solicit your input as to whether or not you feel as a resident that is something that you can get behind. Okay? Any questions? Anybody have anything they want to add? Dale, did I misspoke when I?
No, you did fine.
we can-
You know, you're very.
As far as the State House?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? Mike, as the commissioner for the police department, anything you want to add?
No, the main thing I'd add is, as Shane Briggs has spoke before, it's equipping a police department can be very expensive, and as a retired policeman, I will tell you, if we're going to have a police department, we have to put officers out there that are properly equipped so they can protect themselves and communicate and do their jobs properly.
Okay, so more to follow on that as well. Okay? Any other old business? Okay, new business. Mrs. Farren.
Okay, just to keep you informed, Edgewood is working toward having fundraisers for the pool. And I'm gonna have somebody else come up here and talk about this, but we are having a golf outing to raise money for the pool, and things are headed in the right direction right now. So it's June the 26th, and we're kind of excited about this because it's a big deal, and we want to get money set in the Madison County Community Foundation and get that built up so that we can start moving forward. And we do have a couple of other pool vendors, if you want to call them that have come forward. So we're looking at getting probably at least 3 estimates. So, can I bring them here? Do you want to come up and talk?
I can.
Yes, I would like you to.
I was not prepared.
Brooke,
Of course not,
Parker
that's what,
Diem is in charge of our pool committee, and she has done an outstanding job of getting us organized and out there.
Thank
So, take it away.
Thank you. She said I'm Brooke Parker Deem. It started out as any pool fundraiser. We just have gotten really lucky. We worked with Dylan over at the Pro Shop as our director to pick the date, which is June 26th. That has allotted us 21 teams. We're gonna tee off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Our original plan was to advertise to the whole community, but our committee has done such an amazing job at filling all of those team spots with sponsors and businesses, that it looks like we're gonna have to have a second date for the committee to participate, which pros and cons. Big pro, we've made a lot of money and had a lot of success so far, and we haven't even advertised yet, so that's a big, big plus. We do have a couple spots open, but so far, we've raised at least 8,000 the last time.
It's higher than that.
That's what I thought.
It's over 10.
Yeah, so we're doing really, really well, and what started as a small golf outing has turned into a major event. And Don Ferguson has helped us with contractors, and he's been a huge support in helping that also, so. Does anybody have any questions about the golf tournament?
You say you got a couple openings, so you've got 19 teams?
We
Is that what I
have,
understand?
I think 2 open slots left, maybe, for single teams for anybody that wants to play. We are still reserving 2 for a titleship sponsorship that we're holding out till the end of the month, but it's really looking good and pretty full, so. Again, that's Saturday, June 26th.
Friday.
I'm looking right at it, sorry.
Hey, Brooke, could you elaborate a little bit about the sponsorships that we have? You don't have to go into detail, but we have some gold sponsors, some silver sponsors, and
So we still have our titleship sponsor open, which if anybody is interested in, I have copies of the sponsorship letters and things like that. That is our $5,000 sponsor that we're hoping for. We were so fortunate to have 2, I don't have it right in front of me. I thought I would. I wasn't prepared. We have 2, I believe, gold sponsors. We have 3 now. We have 3 gold sponsors, so that takes all of our numbers down. I didn't check before I came in. But the sponsorships, we offer advertising and team slots based on which sponsorship goal you would like. If you're a small partner in the community and you own a flea market or an ice cream store and you want to advertise, we have tons of whole sponsors available. But yes, anyone that's interested, you can email me or text me, or Patty and Rob have my number. I get a hold of them too often. So, all right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any old business?
new business or old business?
No, I'm sorry, new business.
New business? I've got something. We talked last time about the quotes that I got for the dog waste stations. Okay. But I said I'd bring this time and go through them. I do have one quote here I got 2 different quotes from 2 different companies online. And what we're trying to do is have 6 waste stations that we'll put throughout town. Of course, we'll have to put them on town-owned property, because I don't think anybody wants one in their front yard. I know I don't, but you got one. Yeah. They do at their mailbox. But the waste stations will have a sign on it, and it's gonna be a customized sign that says waste station provided by the town of Edgewood, and then it'll have our website right below that. And the reason for that is that with the stormwater, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it provides us, one of the things that Don needed provided for the community service for the stormwater.
Yeah, in the stormwater regulations and our report that we have to do every year, they ask that we do some sort of community outreach. Like, if you see that on the side of one of these waste stations, if you go to that, then it should take you directly to the stormwater regulations for your home. So, like, one of the things that's on there, they ask you not to wash your car in your driveway. That's a big no-no. So, those are all those kinds of regulations, cause you're gonna kill fish down the road, however that goes. But all that's on there, so that gets us in the good graces with those people that monitor that stuff down at the State House.
So they will be metal, they'll be weather resistant, they're aluminum. They are on a post, and I've already talked to Don and Carl about installing them once they get approved, if they get approved. As I said, it'll say what I talked about earlier. One's from Pet Waste Eliminator. They actually gave me a written quote of $329 apiece for each of the stations. That's for a total of $1,974 for 6 of them. The other place, which was Dog Waste Depot. Dog Waste Depot pointed me towards their website and said all the information's on there, didn't really send me a written quote. So the custom printed dog waste station that they have is $387.97 a piece, which would come to a total of $2327.82. So when Pet Waste Eliminator says they're cheaper than the other guy, they're cheaper than the other guy.
Doesn't mean they're better.
No, it doesn't. But with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the quote from Pet Waste Eliminator and purchase 6 of the stations to be put up, constructed throughout the town.
I make a motion that we do accept that bid, yes.
Second that.
All right, got a question. Where are those funds gonna come from?
Well, we talked about them coming from
The park budget.
the park budget.
That, the biggest park budget I'll have this year, as I explained earlier, was the tree service, which will make it happen. But as far as that's pretty low. That's not a significant amount to make me go, oh my God, I don't have any money in my park budget. And because we just don't have enough things to do, we'll be happy to put those in. And I'll speak for, and I'm sure Carl's at home watching going.
Oh, like you won't make me ride along with you, right?
I figured you're just gonna show up anyway. You've already got the safety color for it.
I do.
So what are we calling these pooper scooper signs?
They're just.
Dog waste station.
Yeah.
And we want to put them in areas that we see a lot of dog walkers. That way they don't have to carry them around with them, because I know it annoys me when I have to. But it's just some community service.
I prefer you do.
And I know, but also it eliminates, because the last time we had a lot of wind, I was talking with Don and Carl, and the trash cans over at the park had blown over, and they were full of dog waste bags. And so the tennis courts and the basketball courts were full of dog waste bags, which my wife and daughter were happy to pick up, weren't they?
They did help.
They
and
did. They were-
Absolutely appreciate that.
I supervised.
So we have a motion on the floor to accept the quote of 6 dog waste stations for a total of $1,974 from Pet Waste Eliminator. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. You got your pooper.
I got my
stickers.
pooper cooper.
I would note that's kind of a crappy motion, but legally, it's sufficient.
Yeah. Great. 6 more things to mow around and.
We will put them in a nice place.
Mr. Austin, for future reference, a price that low, we don't necessarily have to get multiple.
No, we do not at that price.
I didn't think so. Okay. All right, okay.
Don,
Got your waste
just a
station.
question. Where do the powers that be in Indianapolis recommend that you wash your car? Is that a silly question?
At a car wash. Because those, at car washes, the wash water actually goes sanitary. So all of that, your road salt and everything that's on that will go to sanitary, and then it gets treated over at the treatment plant.
And that's just advice. It's not something you have to do, correct?
No, they really say it's a violation.
Okay.
It's really a violation. They ask that even if you have a dog and it goes in your yard, they're asking you to pick that up.
I was talking about
In your own personal yard. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but they.
Oh, yeah.
They say that, and it's like, okay, but what about all the wild animals? I mean, nobody's going around picking up after them.
So that's coming.
Yeah, is it? Yeah,
No.
I'm gonna be retired by that happening.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
What's your card?
Okay, under old business, we do have a resolution that we need to approve tonight. A resolution designating, yeah, under new business.
That's okay.
Well, I'm just reversing, he took.
I know,
new business and
he
old,
backed
so
you
I'm
up.
just-
I
yeah,
know.
okay.
Under business,
A resolution designating bank representatives. Whereas the town of Edgewood Council functions as both the executive and legislative body for the town of Edgewood, and whereas it is necessary for the town council, in order to fulfill its obligations to oversee the town's finances, to adopt a resolution designating representatives who have access to the town's bank accounts. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of Edgewood, Indiana as follows. 1, the Town of Edgewood hereby designates Arthur J. Leek, the President of the Edgewood Town Council, Catherine L. Tanner, Clerk Treasurer, Sherry J. Johnson, Deputy Clerk Treasurer, and Shauna R. Atkins, Accounting Clerk, to have access to and be authorized signers on any bank accounts maintained by the Town of Edgewood, Indiana, subject to the customary requirements of the town's financial institutions, for example, such as having a valid signature card on file, and further subject to the requirements of the State Board of Accounts and any other applicable rules and regulations imposed by the state of Indiana. 2, this resolution shall remain in full force and effect until it is replaced or superseded by a later resolution adopted by the town of Edgewood, Indiana. Be it resolved that on the foregoing resolution was adopted by the town council of the town of Edgewood, Madison County, Indiana, on this, the 20th day of April, 2026. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve resolution 04-20-26, a resolution designating bank representatives. All those in favor of approving resolution say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, resolution carries. Okay, I need you guys' signature.
Mr. Lee, I have a question for Ms. Tanner. Could you just explain to the council what protections are in place in terms of check signing, check writing, payment of invoices? Are those under dual control, or are all those checks
They are.
that are to be written
Right.
have to be approved by you?
Right, once Wendy the deputy clerk treasurer prepares the claims, and then I usually will sign them after the council meeting. And then one of the two of us will sign the checks.
And that are
And
checks
then-
kept in a vault and that sort of the safe?
Yes.
Okay.
You mean the blank checks?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are 2 signatures, correct?
No, there's
Just
one.
one?
But we can, and the other reason why I wanted, well, the additional people, so that they have access every day, every hour, to go in and look at the bank accounts.
Sure.
And then you can look and see who the check was to, who signed it. And then when we do get the bank statement and reconcile, 2 people have to sign off on it.
Thank you.
What bank do we use?
We use, Old National.
All right, I need you guys to sign that. Okay, any other new business?
Presently, I don't know if this is a new business, but when I arrived, Ms. Tanner had an oath for Mr. McCord to take.
I thought that was already done.
It was, Kelly,
It was done?
Kelly told me you wanted to have it done at a council meeting. She
I'm-
sent me an email.
No,
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, then we're okay.
this is
No need to worry
fine.
about that.
You've been sworn in already, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I've got the
Okay, very
paperwork here, yeah.
All right. Comments and questions? Any comments or questions from, actually, no, before we go there, I do go back, I'm sorry. Mr. Farren, when we had our executive session, there was a discussion about untreated chips, wood chips. Can you give us an update or where we're at on that?
Captain,
look at me.
I'll let him explain it, a letter has been sent.
I tease Mr. Perrin. I did some research and I discovered who owns the property and I did send a letter out that those chips need to be removed. Waiting to see progress on that.
Okay. All right, because a town resident brought it to my attention this past weekend, so.
It's the second time he's been
It
notified.
was a week ago,
Okay.
maybe? Somewhere down there.
Okay.
So, I know there's I think, Mr. Austin, is like a three-step process, 2 courtesy letters and then a citation.
Yes.
And then, at that point, would go to court, or at what point would it have to go the final step to court before we could actually bring equipment in there and remove those chips and dispose of them and then bill the property owner?
That I don't know.
Because the ordinance says that the town has the authority to, whether it's proper grass lawns that aren't properly maintained, or trash or refuse, I don't know that we would actually have to wait.
We have it set up where you have the alternative.
Okay, that's what I
Either to go to
read.
court, and we've really had pretty good response from the court. And that's mostly due to Randy, who's followed up on the tickets that we filed with the Elwood City Court. So that's worked out pretty well, but we would have the option, after the initial notice to the homeowner, to hire our own contractor to clean up the wood chips, and then actually go ahead and certify that to be added to their tax bill.
Okay.
So that's a one, and I don't think we pursued that, but that's one option.
That was my understanding, I haven't read the ordinance.
Ms. Fan?
This same gentleman had this problem 2 years ago.
Yes, I think I recall.
And one letter telling him he had to cease and desist dumping there, and he had to remove them. He got him off the property. So
Okay.
hopefully he,
What was the address? What was?
the address, it's on,
215 Tower Road. I think it's 215.
Now, my understanding is a tree cutting service is the ones that did the dumping.
at his request.
Oh,
Well,
Really?
yes. However, the tree cutting service did not realize that it was against town ordinance. And so the company has been notified, and they have indicated that going forward, they will not honor that gentleman's request.
It is I looked it up, it's 215 Tower Road.
Okay.
There's no house on
Yeah,
the
that's
property.
where I came
It's
from.
just
Yeah.
grass and like a garden or
That
something.
is a reference, yeah.
Okay. Well, the homeowner that spoke to me had the conversation with the tree service, and they assured him that it will not happen again.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right, now we'll go to questions and comments. Any questions or comments from the floor? Yes, sir, if you would step up, give us your name, please. And we would ask that you would keep your comments to 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. My name is David Mazzell. I've been talking to you. I've talked to a few people on the board. We moved here about 5 years ago, lived 2007 Edgewood Drive. I don't have any, myself, Joe, my neighbor there, all the neighbors around me, we take care of our homes. We take pride in our homes. I do. We all do. And a lot of the people here are retirees. And that this is their forever home. This is their retirement home. So my concerns are, I've never lived in a homeowners association, which I've never wanted to. I knew there was town ordinances, but, I didn't really, but basically, my neighbor, has a tree in her yard. The roots are protruding over into my yard where I can't mow that strip. with that, I already damaged one blade already. So I have to go around that area. The root base is bulging out of the ground, and the stem of the tree is like this, but the canopy is over on my side. And if that root ball comes out of the ground too much, that tree's going right in my house. So that's my concern, my property, that tree is hazardous to my property. And the Anderson is slowly making their way here with people, people selling their house and moving in. And elements, people that don't really, well, I'm not saying everybody, but there's those people out there that don't care. I care, we all care, we live in this town. And this will probably be the only time that I come up here. I don't like to be, this is not me, I don't like this. Okay, I wanna be home, mowing my grass, just enjoying my yard. So, I'm not gonna say, I pulled the town code off the internet. I've highlighted some things, but the first thing I noticed notated is that the town of Edgewood has the right and the authority, the tree service, they have the right and the authority to go on public or private property when it comes to bushes, trees, shrubs, whatever. Two, that tree that is invading my yard is one of many trees in this neighborhood. And that's a big problem if you know. But I was told by one of the deputies that it was basically my choice, to take care of that. But then I noticed in the town code that said I cannot manipulate or anything that has to do with the tree base. So I'm not trying to cause problems with anybody here. I'm just trying to get my point across and get some,
David, I think you're trying to find a solution is what you're saying.
Yes. I'm like I said, this is the most people I've stood in front of my whole life, so,
Congratulations.
I'm a man of few words, but when I speak, it's honest, it's truthful, and sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I was very anger driven when this first started happening. Cause my neighbor, she don't care. But I have to say, all this, I've had people come out, mark my lawn, water, gas. I had the sewer people come out but they didn't mark the sewer line, but they marked the gas line. And the sewer line comes, I'm gonna say probably about 6 to 8 feet from my house and out to the main road, out to the road. So the sewer line comes through that center section. And my fear is either a tree falling on my house, damaging my property, or the tree uprooting and ripping up my sewer lines and my gas lines, and therefore I'm responsible. So, and that's just, to me, that's not right. I mean, if I'm bringing something to your attention, which it's a big, hot topic, with this town right now, because older neighborhoods, mature trees. So, will anything happen with this? I don't know. And I'm not trying to be that neighbor in the neighborhood that has I don't want a target on my back. I just want to live, that we bought the house at a very good price. We're making, painting, lights, stuff inside the house, making it more up to date. And there's things that I want to do outside. I want to, which I want to go through the whole process. But I would love to build and add on, just basically connect another 16 feet to my shed and make it all look one. So I could put my riding mower and stuff out there. and have space in the garage. But I'm not trying to be that pain in the thorn in your side. And I just wanna be, my tax dollars are going to the town where I live in. We all have a voice.
Mr. Gazelle, I'm assuming you talked to the neighbor and no.
Yeah, she has no, now, I will make it a point. I did, every year I spend hours and hours on sweeping up those landmines, sweet gum trees. And I spend probably $30-40 a year in trash bags to get rid of those landmines. And I did get the wheelbarrow, and I did go and dump them in her yard. And I didn't care, she had me on video. She said I trespassed on her property 2 times, but I can honestly say, the only 2 times that I have walked up on her property, and you can ask Joe, you can ask Lee, my neighbor across the street, whenever I go onto somebody's property, and I know I'm over my 2-3 minutes, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Take your time.
If I'm walking down the street and here's your driveway, I walk right here, I stop, you acknowledge me, and if you say come on up, that's when I come on up. I don't just walk up, no, and I don't expect anybody to do that to my property. I despise it when people walk through my grass, cause I mow it. You know, if you're a friend like Joe, he can walk through my grass, I don't care, but if I know you, you know, I'm okay with that. But I can honestly stand here and tell you that I did not trespass on her, and the only times I talked to her was to, say, let's, can we work together to work on this tree? I will pay half, I will, if you rent the equipment, I will trim it down. But, I'm trying to find a solution to this.
You know, have you gotten a hold of any of the,
Okay, yes, I wanted to say, I did get a hold of an arborist, he was supposed to come out for the first number you gave me. She was a consultant, she led me to him. He was supposed to come out, oh, I hate those things.
Way to get him mad, Don.
And you can't walk over them, you can't roll over them with a mower, you can't, they'll pop your tire if your tire's too thin. But yes, I did get a thing from him. Well, he was supposed to come over Friday, but apparently he had a procedure or something, whatever, and medical procedure, and he wasn't able to come over. I did get a hold of his office today. He is going to come out and look at that. I did, like I said, I called 811. And had him mark the water lines, had him do everything. The only thing that didn't get marked was the sewer line, but that's, clearly that goes down right through the thing. And so, I think I have some legitimate concerns. I'm not, again, I just wanna live, I don't wanna spend my time here, I wanna go home, and so, my only question to you guys, and again, I'm threading this with a fine line. I've never been one for HOAs, I've never been anything, with any town councils, anything like that. But if you was having the same issue, how would you handle it? And that's,
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Austin, Mr. Austin, what is our,
Well, I think we need to know what the arborist,
yes, and I'm gonna go through that process,
and I would be particularly concerned if it's a tree and, whether the limbs are so heavy on top or whether the root system is so shallow or whether it's just not a very healthy tree. If there's some danger of that tree toppling over onto your house, then I think under our ordinance, it's a hazardous tree. Even though it's on private property, we, as either a town council or a tree board, really has or our tree board, would have jurisdiction over that issue and could deal with it.
So, yes, ma'am.
And you asked if we had the same issue, what would we do? And I did share with you that I do have the same issue. There is a hazardous tree in my neighbor's yard that if it falls like the one in my front yard did, it will smash my house completely. So I'm right where you are, working with an arborist.
Yeah, it's just,
David, this house, is it north or south of you?
North's
that way.
2007, it's south, it's
Oh, it's
New
south,
Edgewood.
okay,
It's
east or west?
It's 2007 Edgewood Drive in Oakwood. The house that this lady lives in was June, like she passed.
Rogers.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, that tree, that property is just so overtaken with trees. I mean, my driveway is buckling, my garage is buckling. I'm gonna have to replace those eventually, because the roots is just so,
So has it started to impact your sewer lines?
I don't know yet. I mean, we haven't lost flow,
Okay.
but how deep are the sewer lines?
Okay, in regards to the location, the town of Edgewood is only responsible for the mains. So that's why I did not mark your actual
Okay.
specific private sewer line, and we will not. They can vary. I've seen them as deep as 16 foot. Most of them, what they do, they're around anywhere from 4 to 5 to 6 foot as they get to the street, and then they just take a dramatic drop that they go down to the sewer main. While I'm speaking for those that are interested in that, your sewer line is the property owner's responsibility, even the tap. The only thing that the town is responsible for on the sewer line is the actual main. But I did come out and I marked the water, so you saw that, you saw the water shut off. You do have 2 water mains running through your yard, one on the north side, one on the east side. Your water shut off is on the east side of your driveway.
Right there at the bottom.
So, but as far as sewer, what we would do is if your flow starts slowing down, get it cleaned out, is what we would tell you.
Yeah, I have to have mine done every 2 years.
Or have it, some of the, there's a local company, Madco Excavation, they have a camera, they will camera it, they'll tell you exactly where it is if you have roots infiltrating that. Other than that, that's all I got for you on the sewer side.
I wonder if you could get your report from the arborist
Yes.
to read, or one of the members of the town council, or me, I can give you my card.
Okay.
And members of the town council, this issue is at least in part discussed in section 99 of the ordinance.
Dawn, so not everybody knows the difference between the tap and the main. I mean, I do because of our work, but can you explain where the difference is in the tap and the main? Like, what is the city's tap and what is the homeowner's main, and where that separates?
Yeah, can I do that after he's
Oh, yeah.
finished with it? I'll address that, yes.
But again, I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, I'm not, like I said, this is a whole new, first time being up here, and I'm just.
So let's wait and see what the arborist says.
Yes, sir.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, then we can go from there and see if it's something that we need to address or not.
Who chairs our tree board?
We don't have a tree board.
But I did, and then also,
Shouldn't even be in there.
I took this
But
earlier,
it's still out there.
but she also has that white fence.
Uh-huh.
I have, it comes over in my yard all the time when I mow it. There's that, like the first 3 or 4,
Sections of it.
posts, there's no post. So, yeah, it's just sitting there. And there for a long time, she had it tied up with a wire, tied to a tree, and then she got rid of all the trees, and now there's no trees to tie it off to.
So what did she say when you talked to her?
Well, the gas guy was out there this weekend. And, Joe, he was right, he opened up my back gate and let him back there to, flag it. When he was just checking, she started jumping on the gas guy, you know, cussing at him. Why? He's there, you know, what are you doing over there? None of your business. This is my property. You stay to yours. You know, and I don't wanna feel like that.
No, my question is, have you personally talked to her about the tree? And what-
2 or 3 times.
And what has been her response?
Nothing. You know, nothing. It's just like, well, it's cost a lot to take it down. And then, you know, and then I don't get anything. You know, it's kinda like, don't care.
Is she opposed to it coming down? She just don't wanna pay for it,
She just don't wanna pay for it.
but she's not opposed to it coming down.
I think she wants it down. She wants she made the statement to me, she wants all the trees down in her yard.
Well,
But, I'm just saying, but that's
We're not
the
gonna
statement
take
she
it down.
made.
We take it down, she's gonna pay.
Well, I
for it.
just wanna tell you, Mr. Mizell, I think you handled yourself very well. You're not coming across as argumentative or anything, and if there's anything we can do, I think we should. I'm completely sympathetic to where you're going, where you're at.
I mean, if it's the water lines, sewer lines, whatever, I don't care. I mean, but my house, that's, if that root wall, like I said, when we first moved in, that root wall was about like that, above the ground. Now it's about like that. And there's 2 reasons for the root ball raising up. Either the roots underneath are overlapping each other and pushing it up, or it's just, you know, it's getting old and it's ready
To me, it's.
so. That's all I have.
Okay.
Just let us know what your arbor says.
Okay, and I'll submit the report, or if you guys got a business card, however you want me to send it to, I'll do that, but
Or, Mr. Alston, would you want him to send the report to you, or?
Yeah, I think any of us would be fine. I can give you my card and then
Okay.
I'll make sure everybody, if you get it to me, I'll make sure everybody on the town
Okay,
council
all right.
gets it.
So you can talk.
Yeah, you can send it to me.
okay,
I can move it on, we can get it.
alright, so I mean, I got a card, or,
I can-
okay,
Yeah.
yes, sir,
See him before you leave.
okay.
Okay, and maybe one
Oh,
post,
uh-oh, first time up here, I'm getting,
if I could, if we find this is a hazard and we as a town council say remove it, it's not removed, it's kind of what we talked about earlier. We'd have the right to do so, hire a contractor to do it, and then add that bill to the owner's property taxes.
but I might, you know, I don't want, I like it here. You know, I like our house, I wanna do more outside,
If a tree runs you out of town, we got a problem.
but, you know, I just don't want, I've never been one to deal with the small stuff, I don't, you know, that's not me. So,
Okay.
but,
Just for clarification, is the point of the arborist to get an opinion whether or not the tree's
Yes,
hazardous?
yes, and that's pretty much what it states in there.
Okay.
And online still, yes.
that's all I had.
Thank you,
So,
David.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
On the situation with this tree, if it does come down to the situation that the town has to take action, I have a feeling you'll ask me to take care of that, so I would call Anderson Arbor Care with Steve Dude.
Yeah,
You know, hey, you hired him because the tree went down in your yard.
yes, and he was fantastic.
Yeah, as earlier, and I hate to beat a dead horse here, but the mature trees in Edgewood, now, think about all the wind that we've had this year, we've had some major wind this year, well, now they're leaving out. Trees are getting leaves on them, that is just more surface for the wind to grab hold of and push trees over. Really think, I'm not an expert on it, but I know that much, that's just straight physical science, that's what's gonna happen.
Can you answer that young
Yeah,
lady's
I
question?
will, absolutely. Real quick, Mr. Austin, the idea that if there is a danger on a tree, that we can have that cut, is that correct? Cause
Yes,
I
that is
know,
correct.
I know of one here in town.
Yeah.
And Carl has, he's been on me about that one, so I wanna know whether we can we just go take it out?
Well, I think if we're gonna try to assess the cost for doing that back with homeowner, we'd have to give them notice.
I was just,
But if you
Is it
have
on
the
town
ability
property?
just to go take it out,
it is not on town property.
I think that's something that has to be approved by the council or
I
the
will-
tree commission also,
I will
I
get,
know. based on the ordinances.
Yes, I know.
I will get with the captain on that particular subject and on that particular one. To answer, Brooke's question on with the sewer main. Sewer mains have taps on them. That is where the waste from the home flows into the main of the sewer line. Well, there's basically a hole there. And then that hole is sealed somehow. That's what they call a tap. It's quite different than a water tap, which I'm extremely familiar with, which we put those in and those are used with the corporation, which actually you can shut those off right at the water main. There is no shut off on a sewer main. So it is just basically a straight hole that is drilled into the side of the sewer main and then it is sealed somehow. I'm not up on those, the way those are done, but I know they are sealed there so they do not leak. But that is basically what it is. So if we had a new resident come in, we had more property, we'll say, somebody's gonna have to do that and it's gonna be a licensed plumber that would do that. And they would come in and they would just basically, they would probably use a saw, a hole saw of some sort, cut a round circle in and then use a fitting of some sort that would seal that up. So, but that is what is considered a tap.
Does that answer your question?
The tap, so from the tap to the house is homeowner,
Yes,
from the tap to
is-
the road is city responsibility. That was my big clarification.
Um,
The tap is the deciding factor on what
tap's
falls
at
on
the
the
road, the
city's
main tap.
responsibility
Yeah.
versus the homeowner's, right?
Yeah, for the sewer especially, the tap and all of the line going to the house for the sewer is the homeowner's responsibility in Edgewood. Now, as far as the water line goes, the town is responsible up to that shut off in your front yard. From that shut off to the house is the homeowner's responsibility.
Thank you.
So,
That clarifies it.
anything that has to do with the water main, anything that's on the town.
If you haven't looked into it, there is coverage of,
Sewer
you
line
can buy
protection.
sewer line protection and water line protection. It's really pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
We've actually had a lot of residents that have had that and it has helped them out.
It's, I've done it every 2 years, I use mine.
Yeah, here recently, the most recent
This
one
money spent.
is, they just come in and they just run a brand new line, straight from the shut off in the front yard, they just run a brand new line from there all the way into the property owner's home. The only downfall with that is whoever your insurance is through, the way I understand it is they get to pick who comes out and does the work. You do not get to pick the contractor to do the work for your home.
You call them first.
Well, I would call your homeowner's insurance,
That's
yeah.
it.
Let them take it.
Just to tag on it, I've used them 3 different times and it cost $0 because we had the insurance.
Yeah, well, that's a great thing to have, zero out of pocket right then and there, and then they'll come out and fix your water line. I'm sorry, anything else?
That's it?
I'll send you that info too.
Okay. I'm half deaf out of
Me too.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Approval of the March Town Council minutes.
Make a motion.
Second.
Been moved and second. Approval of Town Council March minutes. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Register of claims.
I second that we
Okay.
approve them, yes.
That's been moved. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. Moved and second. Approval of the register of claims. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The word that all of you have been waiting for. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, meeting's adjourned.
So you're gonna send
Trying to get into it.
The best.
Yes. 100%.
Comes to my,